Well, I'm just about to go to bed. It's about 8:19 at night. It is Wednesday, the 28th of June of the year 2023, and this particular matter has been weighing on my mind for a few days, and I figured that I may as well state it here for all of you to see and also perhaps to contemplate yourselves. You'll most likely see this on Friday. So, if you don't know, I had posted a video last week called Apparently My Life Has No Structure, a lament, which really was more of a rant, to be honest with you, in which I basically said it was sort of a retaliation against something that I took ill with in a video by Johnny Keane, which really, to be honest with you, was not meant in earnest at all. He had actually commented on that video and said that it was his goal not to offend anyone, and that for many years he has avoided contact with many people that he may be able to achieve this goal. And going back and examining some of his videos from the past and also some of those that have come out more recently, that does really seem to be the case, and that it was really I whom had sort of extended things beyond proportion and really was sort of making a mountain out of a molehill, to use that inexcusable cliche. I had sworn to not speak in cliches for the rest of my days, but it grows ever more difficult the longer you live, honestly. It's very strange. But nevertheless, I didn't delete the video. I've unlisted it. So if any of you actually want to see it, just let me know, and I will. I won't make it public, but I will probably just leave a link to it in the description of this video. But nevertheless, it got me thinking. And he had also asked me to forgive him. Well, I suppose I might, because, it wasn't necessarily his fault. It was just sort of my own. It was my own real doing that found me in this situation. And really, it was a mistake on my part, and I recognize that. But I still really do not see a point in watching his later videos because, well, I won't discuss too much about it, but I'm sure I have at some point or other on this channel as to why. But nevertheless, it got me to thinking, this whole thing about whether... Okay, so I have been an ardent believer in the Lord Almighty God for 3 years now, ever since the 27th of May of the year 2020, when I had found out that my father was unconscious and basically on the brink of death. And I had cried out unto him to save my father from so dire a fate. Long story short, my father did not pull through, yet I still continue to believe, and actually availed myself to believe in the faith of my family, which was Catholicism, the only thing I really knew at the time, and took to performing all of the sacraments and traditions that were befitting of that faith. I was more or less, I suppose, enticed by the materialism and also just really the tchotchkes, to use a Yiddish phrase, of the faith itself. But nevertheless, I still believed in God, and really those seem to, I suppose, reinforce the idea of a physical one, a physical Lord and such. But as the years went on, or as the really weeks and months went on, and I started delving deeper into the mysteries of the faith, I probably need to charge this phone because it's going to die here soon. There we go. As I became more immersed into it, I had been alerted of a very staggering and fearsome thought or truth about Catholicism in the form of purgatory, and how basically you are not vouchsafed immediate entrance into heaven. And so, naturally, as a means of sort of dispelling that idea, I had resorted to a radical sort of born-again Christianity and started following this fellow called Brian Denlinger, whom I discussed numerous times before, and it basically believed all there was about the King James Bible. I still use the King James Bible, but nevertheless, it got to the point where I started becoming a very hostile creature, and even threatened to cut off relations with a particular branch of the family just because of the way they believed. And over the years, I sort of I went back and forth between Catholicism and born-again Christianity, until finally I had emerged basically just a Christian who believes all that is said in the Bible, reads it for himself, and does not bend to any established denomination whatsoever, which I think, in my estimation, is the way anyone ought to live, seeking a spiritual life. Nevertheless, that's a brief history of my, I suppose, conversion to Christianity, after being pretty much an unshakable atheist, and I've made a whole video about that. But nevertheless, the reason why I mention this is because it appears that ever since that point, I have done things that were completely different from how I used to do them, and also have made videos that seem to me a bit different in the way that they were conveyed. And I have a sense that that is because, well, yes, I am a different person from when I was back then. And I do think that, yes, I am living a better life than I was then. Nevertheless, it got me thinking, has this channel, and this is a serious question, has this channel seemed to have gotten better or worse with this conversion of mine? And do any of you people think that the videos from my period of unbelief seem to surpass those of the ones that I produced in a state of glory? To put it very, well, not mildly at all, but to put it, I suppose, with a tint of grandeur. But nevertheless, because really, I I'm not sure indeed if I mean, I know I've gotten better in terms of production quality and also just more thoroughgoing introspection. I have also been compelled to making several religious videos which I never could have conceived of making back when I was 17, 18, or when I was really starting out on YouTube back in 2018. So, and those, in my opinion, happen to be some of my best bits of, as I said, introspection or analysis of myself as a person in my own way, especially that one that I made about the things I miss most about being an atheist, which, if you have not watched that already, I highly recommend it. But there seems to be a disconnect that I cannot place and which confounds me, and I feel deserves really outside interpretation and also just general extrapolation with other minds. And that is exactly why I'm making this, and why I intend on asking your opinion as to this matter. I've also made it a point not to state too overtly much of my beliefs as to make this channel more of a neutral environment, because I'm aware that there are some people on here that share different and opposing views as to my own. Some of these views may well even be antithetical, and I don't necessarily want to proselytize a certain way of life, in a sense. So that is also something to consider with this whole discussion. So, do you reckon that my videos have either gotten better or worse with my conversion to a godly existence, or whether they just seem somewhat the same? And also give you a reasoning as to why, because I really am compelled to know just what it is, this disparity that seems to be apparent, and how necessarily it affects the content I produce. I mean, I could definitely see it in my writing, because of late I've been dictating my first novel into my phone, into Google Docs, and have been rereading it and such. And that was, of course, written when I was 17, 18, at the zenith of my atheism. And so, obviously, much of the writing in there is very different. I must say, even perhaps a bit more, I wouldn't say daring, but nevertheless, you could tell that I wasn't necessarily as mature at that stage as to the stage I'm at this moment. The book that I am currently working on at the moment is completely entrenched in religious symbolism and just outright religious, not even allegory, but just really just religiosity, that it could well be the apex of all Christian faction. I don't know, to be honest with you. But nevertheless, I do see the difference that it has made in my writing in that sense. But in terms of videos, and of course, I think my writing is much better now. In fact, I can confidently say that I am a great writer. But nevertheless, I'm wondering about these videos and also just the direction of the channel. Do you think that perhaps what videos I produced here are better or worse because of my salvation, and why so? And it would be an interesting discussion. I like generally to start discussions on this channel because I crave interaction, and it's interesting to hear what other people have to say. So I'm hoping perhaps maybe to start something there. And right now it is 8:33 and I'm feeling very tired. So I'm going to go ahead, stop this recording, probably wait until tomorrow to put this together in my editing software, and basically just slowly or rapidly prepare for bed. I see that Joseph Logsdon, my writer friend, has put out a new video. I'll probably watch that and then just get to bed. So decide among yourselves, I suppose, the answer of that question. Debate it and send it my way. Thank you very much for watching. I wish you a very good morning, midday, afternoon, evening, midnight, whenever it is that you intend on seeing this, and we will see you here very soon. Cheers.